Imagine walking through a silent forest at night. Nothing moves. Nothing makes a sound. Yet somehow, every part of you suddenly screams, "Run!" You don't see a predator. You don't hear footsteps. But you know danger is close. The strange part is, sometimes that feeling is right. So how could ancient humans sense danger before it actually happened? For most of human history, being wrong only once could be fatal. A hidden leopard, a rival tribe, or a snake beneath dry leaves could end a life in seconds. Survival depended on noticing tiny clues that others ignored. And what our ancestors learned over hundreds of thousands of years may still be quietly shaping your mind today. If you enjoy exploring the hidden stories behind human evolution, consider subscribing to Virion X. Every episode uncovers ancient mysteries that still influence the way we think, feel, and survive without us even realizing it. Picture a small group of hunter-gatherers crossing an open plain. No one speaks. Their eyes constantly scan the landscape. The grass bends in the wind. Birds suddenly lift into the sky. One person freezes. The others stop instantly. Nothing visible has happened. Yet moments later, a predator appears exactly where those birds had taken flight. It almost looks like magic, but it wasn't. Our ancestors were surrounded by information that most modern people never notice. Every broken branch, every unusual silence, every strange smell, every shift in animal behavior carried meaning. Nature was constantly sending signals. The people who learned to read them lived longer. Those who ignored them often disappeared from the human story. But here's the first surprise. Ancient humans weren't predicting the future. They were detecting patterns so quickly that their conscious mind never had time to explain them. Long before they formed the thought, "Something is wrong," their brain had already reached that conclusion. What feels like instinct is often the result of thousands of tiny observations happening beneath awareness. Think about how quickly you recognize a familiar face in a crowd. You don't measure every feature one by one. Your brain instantly compares countless details without asking permission. Our ancestors used that same ability for survival instead of social recognition. Now imagine walking through the same forest every day for years. You know every sound, every bird call, every smell after rain. Suddenly, one morning, everything feels different. Not louder, not darker, just wrong. That tiny feeling may have been enough to save your life. Scientists today call this predictive processing. Instead of waiting for events to happen, the brain constantly builds expectations about what should happen next. When reality doesn't match those expectations, an internal alarm begins ringing, often before we consciously understand why. That means ancient humans didn't need supernatural powers. They had something even more useful: incredibly efficient prediction machines inside their heads. But prediction alone wasn't enough. Imagine hearing leaves rustle nearby. It could be harmless wind or a hungry predator. If your brain assumed everything was safe, the mistake could be deadly. If it assumed danger too often, you wasted energy running from nothing. Evolution solved this problem in an unexpected way. It made humans slightly biased toward false alarms. In other words, it's usually better to panic over the wind than ignore a lion. This explains something strange about modern life. Have you ever jumped because a coat hanging in the dark looked like a person? Or felt uneasy walking through an empty parking lot even though nothing happened? Your brain isn't broken. It's using an ancient survival strategy designed for a far more dangerous world. But danger wasn't only about predators. Sometimes the greatest threat came from other humans. Long before cities existed, reading another person's emotions could mean the difference between life and death. A forced smile, nervous eyes, a tense posture. Tiny facial movements often revealed hidden intentions before words ever did. Without realizing it, our ancestors became experts at reading people. Even today, you sometimes sense that someone is angry before they speak. You notice awkward silence before an argument begins. You feel uncomfortable around someone you just met without knowing exactly why. That feeling may be built from dozens of subtle signals your conscious mind completely missed. Here's another twist. Ancient humans didn't survive because they were fearless. They survived because they were afraid at the right moments. Fear wasn't an enemy. It was information. Every racing heartbeat prepared muscles for action. Every burst of adrenaline sharpened attention. Every uneasy feeling encouraged caution. What we often see as anxiety today once kept entire families alive. But fear also created a problem. If everyone constantly panicked, groups would waste precious energy and miss opportunities for food, exploration, and cooperation. So humans evolved another remarkable ability. They learned to borrow each other's awareness. One frightened person could alert an entire group within seconds. A single glance toward danger, a sudden stop while walking, a quiet hand gesture. Before language became sophisticated, bodies were already communicating survival. Researchers have found that emotions spread through groups surprisingly fast. One person's fear changes the behavior of others almost instantly. This emotional contagion helped ancient communities react together instead of individually. Imagine standing around a fire after sunset. The children laugh. Someone prepares food. Then one hunter suddenly looks into the darkness. No words, no shouting, yet everyone falls silent. That silence itself becomes information. The group has learned that when experienced people react, everyone should pay attention. Over generations, this collective awareness became one of humanity's greatest advantages. Alone, a human isn't the fastest animal or the strongest predator. Together, humans became incredibly difficult to surprise. Yet one mystery still remains. Why do people today sometimes have accurate gut feelings, even in situations with no obvious danger? The answer may be hiding inside your own nervous system. Your brain constantly collects details that never reach conscious awareness. A change in someone's voice, an unusual walking pattern, a missing background sound, a strange smell in the air. Individually, these signals seem meaningless. Combined, they may trigger a powerful feeling that something isn't right. Only later do we discover what our brain had already noticed. That's why intuition often feels mysterious. Not because it's magical, because the calculations happen silently. Of course, intuition isn't perfect. Sometimes our brains create false alarms from stress, past experiences, or simple coincidence. Ancient instincts evolved for forests and open plains, not crowded cities and endless notifications. Learning when to trust intuition and when to question it is one of the modern challenges our ancestors never faced. The most fascinating part is that none of this disappeared. Every time you notice someone staring before you turn around, every time you instinctively avoid a dark alley, every time an unexplained feeling tells you to pause for just 1 second, you're using mental tools shaped across hundreds of thousands of years of survival. The world around you has changed beyond recognition. Your brain has not. So maybe ancient humans never truly detected danger before it happened. Maybe they became so skilled at reading invisible clues that danger was already unfolding long before anyone else could see it. And perhaps that's the real mystery. The next time you feel that quiet voice telling you something is different, ask yourself one question. Is it just imagination? Or is an ancient survivor inside your mind still watching the world exactly as it was born to do? If this idea changed the way you think about your own instincts, share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever had a gut feeling that turned out to be right? Share this video with someone who loves hidden mysteries of human evolution, because the most powerful survival tool our ancestors ever developed may still be the one making decisions before you even know they're being made.